Jimmy D, live from Concord, New Hampshire. Marijuana decriminalization hearing is about to go down over in the State House behind me. But nevertheless, I just had a little press conference outside. John Perry got to say a couple words, rooting for the good old SSTP team. But nevertheless, things are going to start around 1, and I'll let you guys know how here with Johnny P. And John just got to say a few words at the press conference. John, how do you think it went?
I thought it went pretty well. I was short, but it's good. Get the point
concise.
Across. Concise would be a good word for it. Yeah.
And looking forward to the hearing.
I am. Just get some good things to say. Going to be testifying with a bunch of other great people. Some good things to say as well. Bradley Jardis of LEAP, Matt Simon. Should be interesting.
Simon. Matt, how do you think the press conference went?
So far, so good. What really matters is this hearing that's coming up in the House Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee, but we had a handful of reporters come out for this, and we feel like the impression was very positive.
And Matt, during the press conference, you noted that this bill is a little bit different from ones in the past. Could you just highlight on that real quick?
Well, this is a very responsibly written and well-conceived bill that seeks simply to change the way that marijuana penalties are classified. It's currently a Class A misdemeanor in New Hampshire. Anybody who's charged would get a criminal record, possibility of jail time. This makes it a violation and a fine of up to $200. So marijuana remains illegal, but the punishment is closer to fitting the crime. And we think that's consistent with the New Hampshire Constitution and with common sense.
All right, thanks, Matt. Good luck in the hearing.
All right, Jimmy D, Johnny P, Trailer 4 superstar Rob in the back. On our way back from the marijuana decrim hearing. Wasn't able to bust out the camera in there. I was kind of sitting in a bad spot. But nevertheless, went well. 2 nays. The Attorney General was kind enough to send somebody over. And the head of the Police Chiefs of New Hampshire,
The chief of the police chiefs.
The chief of the police chiefs. Thank you, John. Was there, and he wanted to testify against it, and had all this baffling things to say. And it got to the point where one of the members on the committee asked him if he would reinstate alcohol prohibition, and he basically said, "Yeah."
He said he wasn't willing. I'm driving. So he wasn't willing to comment on a specific answer to say yes, but he was like, well, with all the problems it caused, I'd kind of like to, but I can't say that I want to. Is basically what he said, and he's talking about the most failed policy in the history of the country besides slavery. So it shows where his mind's at.
Yes, but were some LEAP officers there who took the time to pick that gentleman's testimony apart after he left. And it was pretty good. Some of the people on the committee obviously seemed to be more supportive than others. Some people just seemed to be really unintelligent, and I question how they ended up in the legislature. One gentleman who was testifying against he was kidding around, testifying against the bill on behalf of organized crime, and a member of the committee after the hearing walked up to him and asked him if he could have his card. And but yeah, it was pretty bad. And he had I have my bachelor's in criminal justice. And but the hearing kind of stretched out a little. They intended to question a medical student from where?
Dartmouth.
A Dartmouth medical student for about 20 minutes, and but like I said, the hearing went fairly okay. Some of the voices on the committee were a little soft-spoken. Didn't hear from all the members, but some of them really came out and tried to. The questions they were asking, you could tell where to lean the answers in the kind of a light that made the bill seem positive. And then some of them were just all out against it. Johnny P here. Why don't you tell them about your little encounter with...
John just ran a red light, just let it...
Yeah, John.
It's snowing, I wasn't going to stop short. Come on.
But, so John testified. John, how do you think your testimony went?
I think it went okay. We touched on federal financial aid and why we should, make marijuana a violation in New Hampshire and not a federal offense. It's not a felony or a misdemeanor, because you're going to lose your federal financial aid if you are convicted of that. But not only that, New Hampshire is one of the states that bases its eligibility for state financial aid on the basis of if you're eligible for federal financial aid. So if you have a drug conviction and you are denied federal financial aid, in New Hampshire you'll also be denied state financial aid. So I brought that up, and I forget his name, Representative Bourbon or Burgess, I don't know. He was he really wanted to argue with me that this would still make you lose federal financial aid, but I'm not convinced that it will. But he wasn't clear on his argument, and you'll see the full video of that too. And the chairman basically told him to cut it out so I could finish my testimony.
And actually, the hearing started with the gentleman who was sponsoring the bill speaking, and the first question was about the financial aid aspect, and the rep sponsoring the bill proceeded to say, "Oh, there's someone here from SSDP that can answer that,"
Which was sweet.
Which was sweet, but nevertheless, great time. Enjoy.